being elected as mayor, and arts and culture was a big item through the campaign process, or whatever. We all heard it, we all listened, or whatever. What I did find is that there's too many various groups that are trying to funnel their information, but no place to actually funnel it to. And I think that this is the opportunity to do this. Councillor Larry McDonald and I had a discussion in regards to bringing this forward, and I do believe that it has to be done, if for nothing else, to organize it. But one thing that I do believe also is that we have an arts and culture committee, so I do believe that should be funneled and more or less directed, or whatever, and to work with the consultant. I don't know if that's the way it's, because there's been no process. Who does the consultant report back to? Council right away? Does he do this here? Or who does he work with as a group? So does anybody want to address that in a way of an amendment to the motion? Councillor, let me know.
The only reservation I have with that, if we were to funnel this through the Arts and Culture Committee, is that I don't know how broad a representation that committee has of the arts community, but I'd love to hear it. Because I think that, given that it's a very small committee, I don't think it has the inclusiveness that we would want as consultees in this report.
Okay.
So they should certainly be a major player, but I don't think they should be the funnel point unless they opened up, and they don't. Their meetings aren't public, for example.
Yeah, but you have to remember that committee, we control the composition of that committee, and I do believe there was people from specific parts. Councillor Murphy?
Point of information, they are public meetings.
Sorry?
They are public meetings.
Yeah, but I think they don't have a whole lot of people in attendance.
Okay.
But they are open to the
Let's
public.
debate. Yeah, we'll debate through the chair. But then again, that's, the thing is that that's what I found, or whatever. But I think that we have to have that group, or whatever, whether it's amending the committee or reappointing them, I don't really know. But then again, it should go through the committee process, because we have a committee in place to deal with that. But that can come in a motion at a future meeting or whatever, once we hear and go for a request for proposal. Councillor Amy Dunn.
Thanks for allowing me to follow up. I want to tell you that when the terms of reference were drawn up last year, the CAO and I think Mr. Alexander and Mrs. Lefebvre consulted three major art groups. One was the Culture Committee, another was your Arts Committee, which is the broad group that represents all of SDG, and another group, the Arts Collective, which has been actively fundraising and raising public awareness and consciousness of this. So those are three pretty major inclusive groups that have been part of it.
Well, I think we can send the report back to the committee and just get a comments from the committee on how to do that or whatever, but that can be done internally with staff, directed to the CAO, and then possibly come back prior to awarding it the RFP. Should we be successful, then at that point in time we can determine exactly who's just going to be follow the study close enough and report back to council. We have committees for everything else.
Can I just add a little bit, Mr. Mayor? I think you raise certainly a good point, and we need to kind of establish through the report that we're coming back with in June how this is going to be administered. I think the city needs to administer as far as paying the bills and going through the processes, getting it awarded. But it could certainly be looked after through with a steering committee, a project steering committee that we could establish. So that would be an option I think that we could discuss in the meeting, in the report at the next meeting.